Welcome to the show.
Now, number 2, Chris, Manus Island. What's happening?
Shivers.
Topic 2, sorry, not number 2.
So Manus Island, that's where we send these boat people, right?
There's bloody boat people.
Refugees.
Asylum seekers.
Stop the boats.
Are they refugees? We don't know. That's why we send them there.
Oh, right.
We don't know because they
Semantics.
just showed up on a boat, you know.
They just showed up.
So this is a big story this week.
Try that sentence one more time.
This week, I was gonna say today, but it's not today.
This week, I have a big story.
I do have a big story.
It's the biggest story.
The biggest story. So the Australian government / the operators of the detention centre in Manus Island, they're paying out a group of asylum seekers who were being detained there.
1,500.
1,905 of them in the group.
It was 1,500.
They're getting the biggest human rights payout in Australian legal history.
Wow.
Far out.
$70 million
Between them.
plus legal costs, which is over $20 million.
Oh, far out.
Yeah, so they...
So
Chance is doing the maths.
$36,745 each.
Approximately, because they have to...
Plus legal costs.
They figure it out based on the length of time they've been there and
pro rata.
their treatment also. Some people got worse things.
That's the correct thing I said.
Wow.
Every now and again, Ye-Chan says
I don't
something
know
smart.
I don't know how to deal with it.
I'm actually smart.
So the legal battle's been going on for like 3 years, right? And so this settlement finally came before court. So they didn't want to go to court because in court, right, they'd have to go to trial and there'd be like 100 witnesses, people coming and giving evidence.
What were they on trial for, Chris?
Let me tell you.
Who is on trial?
Those people who have to pay.
The Australian government
Is on trial.
/ the people who are running the detention centre.
Yeah.
And who are the people taking them to court?
The 1,905 bloody people who are getting paid.
Where were
Right.
you?
Keep going.
That was the actual angle.
Proceed.
So apparently the Commonwealth had breached its duty of care. The conditions that they were in did not meet Australian standards. They had a complete disregard for their rights and breached international conventions. So the quote that I read was they failed to make sure that there was an adequate supply of food, water, shelter, medical treatment, personal hygiene products, and security.
The idea was it was like worse than a prison, right?
Yes. Like way worse, like maggots in their food and hair in their food, and
There was like
just
times when the locals in the island would like attack the people
And
in the
there was
detention centre.
holes in the fences, no
There's testimony
security.
from like doctors, former security guards, volunteers with like non-profits and stuff who all like corroborated just how terrible it was there.
And then, so instead of going to court, they've settled with this 70 million. So, because if they went to court, then there would be hundreds of people giving evidence and testimony,
And
and
it'd all be public record.
200,000 documents would be
I kind of hope. I
public record.
was kind of wishing it would go to court.
Yeah.
Yes. So, then you know what happens. I know you're thinking the blame game starts.
Of course.
Right.
So, obviously, Labor's come out and said, you guys are evil. The government is evil.
They friggin' started.
And then our immigration minister, Mr. Peter Dutton, he says, no. It's Labor's fault. You let all the boats in. We stopped the boats. And he made sure to remind everybody that we stopped the boats.
Which is a classic Dutton thing
Which
to say,
is
right?
why they're paying $70 million.
Classic. Well, that's the thing. The settlement comes with no admission of liability. So
That's a joke.
It's sort of like the fact that you're paying someone $70 million is admission.
Yeah.
Totally.
yes,
It's
Right?
like, I
Like-
don't want to go to court because it's going to be bad for me.
I'm going to give you $70 million, but I didn't do it.
correct.
Yeah.
Which just means if there's ever future court cases, it's bad, right?
It means those people who got the settlement wouldn't be able to try that again.
Go
And
again.
stuff.
Yeah, they're dropping the charges, I
Yeah,
guess.
and there was also an unfair
Case.
imprisonment charge
Yeah.
with the PNG government.
Which
Unlawful detainment.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
they had court cases in Australia as well as in
PNG.
Papua New Guinea, where the island is. So it's
Right.
likely that court case is going to get dropped because this one settled. So they already got him.
Wouldn't that mean the other one would get settled?
No, because it's like a doubling up, and I'm guessing the other court will just be like, you can't get
This
tried
matter's
in
already
two
settled.
countries
Yeah.
for the same
No.
crime, right?
Yeah, I think they're kind of
Yeah.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
so
fair, Labour did start it. They started the offshore detention, didn't they?
that's where they.
Didn't they
Sent
open
them,
those
right?
centres in the first place under Kevin Rudd or Julia Gillard?
Yes.
So they're not like-
under
they're
Julia
not, like,
Gillard. They
innocent.
started.
Because like some of these court cases go back to like 2014 or
3 years,
earlier? Okay. Oh, actually, that would have been coalition. But anyway,
What's
But-
the idea in having these detention centers offshore?
you seem tough,
And
Right.
it's not Australia.
and it's obviously always the best idea if you want to seem tough to
Mm.
take the weakest people
Yeah.
and bully them
Hmm.
and treat them crap. So yeah, that's what they're doing. Peter,
I feel like
Peter
you're
Dutton,
making a point there.
Peter Dutton took over from Scott Morrison with the whole like we're tough guys and we're gonna do whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the guy that got beaten up?
Floyd Mayweather,
No.
Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, Bolt.
Usain Bolt?
Andrew Bolt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I saw a thing that he wrote, and he was talking
Andrew
about.
Bolt, conservative columnist, got attacked in Melbourne by some like anti-fascist idiots.
Yeah. They're like, "You're a bad guy. We're gonna beat you up," and they filmed it. They got in trouble.
Yeah. Well, he fought back and like they ran away.
Anyway, yeah. So he's very conservative, and he wrote a piece about this, saying, like, "Why should we have to pay for them? Because even though they're rioting and they got on boats here and they came here illegally." So that's the conservative argument, really. Is why should we have to pay them out $70 million?
Yeah. Despite
That's
the
a
fact
weird
that
argument.
like they didn't break a law by getting on a boat to come here, because we signed up to a convention that says it's not illegal to do that.
Yeah.
So
There you go,
Yeah.
Mr. Bolt. Talk
There's
to
your
Jono.
answer. There's your answer.
Just don't get into interest rates.
Yeah. I know what you're thinking.
What?
Where are these guys now?
Where are they?
These
I do wanna
1,905.
know.
I actually was wondering that.
On the latest count, and I quote someone, 856 are still at the Manus Island Detention Centre.
Damn.
103 live in Papua New Guinea somewhere else. 6 of these guys are now in Nauru. 54 are in Australia in detention. 11 are in community detention. 1's in criminal detention. 400 are living amongst us
I was going to say, did any of them
How
make
many?
it to Australia?
400?
in the Australian community
good.
on bridging visas or things like that. And
so they were found to be genuine refugees, and they couldn't hold them any longer.
I don't know. That's when you give someone a bridging visa, right?
Yeah, I guess.
After you've
I don't understand their system because
they've gone through the processing.
because they're all like, you'll never get to Australia, but they didn't have an alternative. So it was like, you'll never get to Australia, so even if we find that you're a genuine asylum seeker who needs help, we're going to keep you in that prison forever.
Well, a lot of them made it, so
Good.
And then
Some of them are applying for visas to America right now as well,
probably
under the deal with the US government.
I thought that deal got scrapped.
No, they're still doing it.
was that the Manus people?
Yeah, that was like Trump said it was the worst deal ever, but
He
he's still
didn't call it off.
no, because
Yeah.
we're taking a bunch of their refugees. This is so stupid. We're taking South American refugees in exchange, because
That makes sense.
idiots.
Let's
Yeah.
trade refugees. Like, just take
We're
the ones
taking
you get.
more
Yeah.
South American refugees.
Well, no,
We
it's
like
actually
those.
Really dumb.
They're the nice refugees,
They
Jimmy.
I was
they
going to
have,
say, I had South American food today.
That's
and it was
right.
pretty great.
they have tacos. We're okay with them.
What about Lubna? Okay, and like 500 of them have gone back to their home countries
Right.
also.
What country are they from?
Is that because they were found to
Mostly
be refugees,
Iran.
so they could actually send them back?
A lot of them returned to Iran,
Right.
Vietnam, Iraq, Lebanon, India.
I remember at least
How-
one of them had actually like disappeared or something after he got
Oh,
back.
really?
Yeah.
How do the people come from Iran to Australia?
They get to
People
Indonesia,
smugglers.
Oh, is that
yeah,
what
they
they
get
do?
around.
Oh,
They get
okay.
around to.
Gotcha.
then get on a boat.
Mm.
So, at first look, this seems awesome, but it's more middle ground, right?
No, it is awesome because it is an admission of guilt, regardless of how like Andrew Bolt and Peter Dutton
React.
like spin it.
Mm.
They have to like they wouldn't have settled if they thought we could go to court and we'd be like, why would the Australian government settle?
Yeah.
They have
Right.
enough money to pay their lawyers for as long as they need to. The only reason they're settling is because they know it would have been worse publicity, which, like, is basically an admission that they were guilty.
Right. All right.
Yeah, so it's good, and
Yeah.
like these people are not doing well.
And they so could have not done it in the first place and it would have been fine. Exactly the same.
Now, but I mean middle in that the island still sucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, it's still hell.
And Nauru is just as bad, right?
Yeah, but I guess maybe with this settlement they'll be forced to actually improve the conditions.
Surely they'd have to.
there, which is something.
Hopefully.
Unless they want to keep
Yeah,
giving
because they're
money
like
out.
talking about like there wasn't enough medical supplies, or there wasn't like water
Personal
for people to
hygiene.
drink, or personal hygiene, the accommodation and stuff was terrible.
Or even just people came and they had, like this one story, like the main guy, he came and he had like serious burns and he had this skin like cream for his condition, but when he came they took it off him and they wouldn't let him use it, and like it's quite sunny there, and they're like, just put some sunscreen on, put some Nivea on, and they couldn't get any medical treatment or
Crazy.
attention at all.
It's the Australian way.
Just slips
Australia.
off, slap, mate.
Yeah.